The suitcases hit the pavement first. A hollow thud. Then another. Zippers screamed as they burst open, my shirt spilling into the street like evidence from a crime scene. Neighbors' windows flickered with light. Curtains breathed. Someone laughed. Someone filmed. My wife stood on the porch, barefoot, wild-eyed, righteous. Her phone was in her hand. Mine vibrated in my pocket. "From now on," she screamed, voice cracking with relief she hadn't earned, "this house is mine. Go live with the homeless." I remember smiling. Not wide, not cruel, just enough. Inside my skull, something locked into place. Earlier that day, I had placed a slim folder in a safe deposit box downtown. Inside it, severance terms they called generous, keys to a beach house no one knew existed, and account numbers that could bend a small country. 10 million, clean and quiet. I'd memorized them the way monks memorize prayers. The phone vibrated again. A name flashed. My daughter-in-law. I didn't answer. I watched my wife's hands shake as she crossed her arms, satisfied, certain. She thought she had won. I picked up one suitcase, then another. The night air smelled like rain and rot. I smiled because smiling costs nothing, and I was about to spend everything. Losing the job was the excuse. Cruelty had been waiting longer. For years, I had funded a life that excluded me. Subtle edits. Canceled dinners. Her eyes sliding past me during conversations, searching for something warmer, brighter. Someone else's reflection. I told myself it was stress. Men do that. We swallow truths until they digest us from the inside. Then the phone call came. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," my daughter-in-law shouted, sharp and rehearsed, "come wash the dishes." Over the phone, I could hear laughter. My wife's laugh. Younger now. Lighter. I said one word. "Enjoy." The line went dead. Later, alone in a borrowed room with peeling paint, I replayed the past decade with a colder lens. The unexplained withdrawals. The business trips that aligned perfectly with her absences. The way my opinions had become inconveniences. I didn't feel rage. I felt accuracy. The betrayal wasn't just infidelity, it was strategy. I had been reduced financially useful, emotionally expendable. A placeholder until I wasn't needed. That night, I opened my laptop and began to list dates. Names. Receipts. Patterns. I slept for 90 minutes. That was enough. I moved quietly. Silence is the most dangerous camouflage. I let the rumors spread that I was broke, displaced, embarrassed. I answered texts with apologies. I declined invitations with humility. I became invisible. Meanwhile, I watched. Phone records are honest when people aren't. So are calendars. So are bank statements. I noticed a recurring transfer small enough to ignore, frequent enough to matter. A man's name. A man I'd met once. Firm handshake. Too confident. He'd looked at my wife like a conclusion. I followed the money, not the man. I didn't confront her. I cooked dinner when she allowed me back to retrieve documents. I folded laundry. I listened. I nodded. Inside, gears turned with surgical calm. I hired no investigators. I needed no dramatics. The truth leaves fingerprints everywhere if you know where to dust. A week later, I requested DNA kits under the pretense of health curiosity. She laughed, rolled her eyes. Agreed? She always underestimated my patience. The results would take days. In the meantime, I booked a flight. Switzerland doesn't ask questions if you arrive with answers. The email arrived at 3:12 a.m. I read it once, then again. Then I closed the laptop. The data was clean, clinical, merciless. I poured myself a glass of water and sat in the dark. Later that morning, I placed the report on the kitchen table between us. I didn't sit. "What's this?" she asked, already defensive. "Read it." She skimmed, froze. Color drained from her face like a retreating tide. I waited. Her mouth opened, closed. "No," she whispered. I nodded once. Not in anger, in acknowledgement. I already knew which child wasn't mine. I already knew when the affair began. I already knew who had been paying for what. She cried. Loudly. Messily. I felt nothing. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten. I simply left. From Zurich, I sent one message. A photograph. The villa overlooked a lake so still it felt artificial. Sunlight cut through glass walls. The furniture didn't brag. It didn't need to. Within minutes, my phone exploded. 71 missed calls. Messages from my wife. From my son. From my daughter-in-law, suddenly polite. Curious. Afraid. I ignored them all. I transferred ownerships. Closed accounts. Rewrote beneficiaries. Everything legal. Everything final. Back home, the house emptied slowly. Lawsuits stalled. Lies collapsed under their own weight. She had gambled on my ruin. I had planned for her certainty. I wake early now. The lake doesn't judge. The silence doesn't ask for explanations. Sometimes I think about the man I was the one who paid for love and called it loyalty. I don't miss him. I don't hate her either. Hate requires intimacy. What I feel is simpler. Distance. I didn't destroy her. I let her meet herself without my support holding the mirror steady. My phone hasn't rung in days. That's how I know it's over. I didn't win. I walked away with the truth, and that was enough.